When I was an 11-year-old, I was forced to leave the school I'd come to know. I had to leave behind my friends and everything familiar to me. I would start a new school, Catholic school. In this place, the kids wore penguin suits and didn't talk to me. Every recess, the bench on the far side of the playground became my retreat. I would bide my time scanning the cold concrete and the blue sky. I became the sole kid sitting alone on the edge of a bench. We've all encountered benches in our daily existence. Unmoving and unflinching, they sit in a quiet solitude, shaping our daily routine and amassing secrets and stories that they rarely reveal. Our lives are replete with turning points, and for me, a simple bench would become a companion along the way.
It's weird, like benches, it's kind of like benches are one of those things you do sit on and everything, but there's so much more. Like for some people, benches are memories, so you're like, oh, we sat on that bench when we kids, or you're like, oh, that's where I got beat up and I fell on the bench.
When you're standing, you tend to notice people around you, tend to focus your attention at different things, but when you're sitting on a bench, you feel as if you're alone.
I used to live in Paris, and it's impossible to stay in a bench in Paris without being bothered by other people.
In college, I could sit on a bench and not feel shunned. It became a welcome and accepting place for me, a place for reflection and shelter. With my past behind me, I could bury those old memories of my earlier trial, or so I thought.
For me personally, it always reminds me of like in old movies or in snapshots of like times past. You always see like couples getting out and sitting on the bench and enjoying the afternoon. It was more like a date type thing where you'd go for a walk and the bench was a place kind of like going to the soda shop or something like that and have a coffee or a drink. So to me, it's always been kind of a pastime, if you will.
I was 13 and I had a crush on Danny, and he came and met me behind my building, and there was a circle, and in the middle of the circle was a sand pit, and there were benches all along. So he met me behind my building, and he had his bicycle, and we took a walk to Baskin Robbins, which was at least a 3-mile walk and back, and he got a strawberry root beer soda, which was totally disgusting, with strawberry ice cream, chocolate syrup, and root beer. And we walked back to my building, right behind my building, and sat on a bench. And he drank the soda, and we were talking, and then he kissed me for the first time. And I had braces, and he had an overbite. So my whole face had like teeth marks, and it was just raw all around my mouth, and I thought my mom would know, but he was really tall, and so I sat on the back of the bench, and he leaned down and kissed me.
I reluctantly found myself at a bathhouse. I couldn't explain why I was here, perhaps to satisfy some curiosity. Hungry eyes I felt past me, and I began to feel cold and rejected. I found it strange that a place so different began to remind me of the bench at Catholic school. My past had caught up with me.
On one end of the bench having a cup of coffee, he was sitting on the other end of the bench having a cup of coffee, and we both looked at our backpacks, and we both had identical backpacks from a Sierra Club. And that started a whole conversation up. I normally don't talk to strangers. Surprise. You're a total stranger, but you did ask me, didn't you? And so we just talked about the Sierra Club, and we went on from there for about an hour.
If you sit by yourself, of course you'll feel lonely. But then if you sit on the edge of the bench, you kind of invite people to the other side, so you don't really feel lonely.
I think benches have a nice historic perspective. I think that we've seen benches ever since there's been civilization. So, you know, it must mean someone had in mind that people not sit alone, that they, you know, and that they're efficient, and they offer a lot of opportunity for variety and artistic expression. Benches do. And I'll be more mindful of looking for benches in the future. You can count on that.
We may overlook benches, but they connect us to others and to ourselves. My life had come full circle. Some of my lowest moments were spent on a bench. But benches are not only about fear. They are full of possibilities. I no longer sit on the bench alone. It serves as a link that I have with my past and my future. Inhabiting public and private spaces, a bench is more than just a construction of wood, metal, and plastic, but a memory, an idea, a face.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome, Carlo.
Excellent.
I hope you get an A.
I hope so too.